There's a immediate fruitiness. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we have a really rare bottle here in my cask. It's long gone. It's no longer available on the shelves. It's a collector's item. It's a Strathisla, 40 years old, and I tasted already a Strathisla here in my cask. Strathisla 1965, an excellent bottle. Both this bottle and the 65 are from Garner MacPhail, an independent bottler, and the specialty of these bottles is the original label. The original label Strathisla was bottled in former times. Strathisla Distillery, Keith, Banffshire, the oldest Speyside malt distillery in Scotland. Strathisla Glenlivet Distillery Company Limited, established 1786, so one of the very few distilleries from the 18th century still working. My very first single malt whiskey I loved most, or which belongs to the whiskies which I loved most, were a Strathisla 15-year-old, also from Garner MacPhail. So I have a special feeling against or for this distillery, and Garner MacPhail was the only bottler, independent bottler, who was able to, deliver Strathisla bottles. And in 1994, or it was 1995, the first official bottling of Strathisla, 12-year-old, came out on the market. No, not the first. There had been some others, but this was broadly and widely available. It's already on my, still on my list to taste. And Strathisla is called home of the Chivers. So the lead malt in Chivers Regal, the famous blended whiskey from Scotland, is Strathisla. This bottle is already from 2011. So in the last 4 years, all the bottles were sold. I think they were gone in 2012. And in the meantime, there are only a few vintages from the 60s and the 70s left from Garner MacPhail. There had been a 30 years old and a 25 years old, and both are gone as well. So I have the fear that nothing is waiting in the warehouses of Garner MacPhail for the future. The bottle had been reasonably priced, so a lot of people bought it. Then the malt whiskey boom set in, and prices rose very sharp, and in the end this bottle had been around 300 euros. It's really dark, it's uncolored, it's sherry cask matured, first fill sherry for 40 years. Incredibly. And I spared this whiskey in my bar, very deep, very behind all others. And from time to time, I take a sip of this, and now it's the time has come that there's so few left in the bottle that I do no longer dare to keep it, because oxidization, it oxidized for 40 years in the cask already. But I feel that now the time has come that this bottle has to be finished. And before finishing, I would like to share the thoughts about this whiskey with you. Probably you're in the possession of such a whiskey in your whiskey collection, and then it's good to know how this whiskey tastes, even when you're not opening or intend to open this bottle in the near future. There's a immediate fruitiness. And in the very, very start, there's a little fruitiness remembering the distillery character which the 12-year-old carries. But then the sherry takes over and it's dark fruitiness, and there's a little faint smokiness. There might have been more smoke in the bottle years before, but the phenols are not fully oxidized and they are still working, oxidizing, and then bringing more complexity with the years. So this is sweetness and behind a spicy oakiness. This is very, very complex caramel coming up, vanilla coming up, but covered in sherry, covered in spiciness in oak. So the cask has really taken over and covers most of the distillery character. And this is what happens with most of the old single malt whiskies. Whenever they rest 30, 35 years in first fill sherry cask, they all taste nearly the same. No, that's not true, but they come closer to each other because the cask takes over, but there are differences in cask as well. Which sherry was in? Pedro Jimenez, Oloroso, Amontillado, whatever. So there are differences, and where the oak grew in the Pyrenees, and they made experiments with casks which grew in different places, and when the rings of the wood are not the same, one grows slower and the other faster, so this gives differences in the taste. So, but on a broad scale, they come closer together. You need a lot of time to come close to this whiskey, but I do not have the time here, so we stop now and have the first sip. In the beginning, quite smooth, close to non-alcohol. It's only 40%. No, 43%. And then the sherry comes, and then oak hits in, strong oak going over to chocolate, licorice, cocoa. Yeah. But the oak is less intense than I expected. It's not brash or flashy, but it's decent, giving complexity, and the strong bitterness is missing. So this is a wonderful, long matured whiskey which did not acquire this bitterness. Yeah. The oakiness, the smokiness is fading away quite fast, and the sherry and the cask are coming up to your nose. With the second sip, the mouth watering starts and some hidden sweetness appears. And now there is a going to sweetness, coming back to spiciness, and moving along. Some fruitiness from the distillery character still there. Yeah, a whiskey to die for. Really one of the very, very best I had. Yeah. Yeah, I think for the next weekend, this bottle, or the rest of this bottle, is mine. Yeah, it stood too long in my cabinet. Thank you for watching. There's more to come. Stay tuned and feel free to share this video with your friends, and please add your comments in our whiskey database. Perhaps you also have this bottle and have strong emotions and experiences with this.